but I'm now no longer looking through 32,844, which is how many there are nationally. I'm only now looking at the ones that are in Chelmsford. I don't know how many there are in Chelmsford, but I know that I'd already looked this up, and I found my C, D, and E were my three LSOAs that I've written down. Where am I? Oh dear, that's my thing. That's right. So here we are. Now I'm going to pick my Chelmsford 16D, C, D, and E from the list. C, D, and E. And now I found Danbury's electricity consumption, and obviously I'd repeat that for my gas. So here's total number of meters, total kilowatt hours of electricity consumption over those meters, and then they calculate a mean and a median. But median, you can't add medians up, remember. You can add means by dividing them by the number of meters and multiplying them and adding them together, but you can't do that with the median because it's mathematically nonsense. So we now have found if we were looking for an output area, things would be a bit more unpleasant. I don't know what's happened to my, there we are. I can go back to my slideshow. So if you have got to the stage where you need to use output areas, then you are going to have to use this lovely thing, which is called the National Statistics Postcode Lookup. You found your output areas by using that method that I showed you in NOMIS. You've gone to the output areas part of that usual resident population data set. You've gone into output areas, you've gone and found the little map, and you've clicked all the output areas that make up your parish. But now you need to find out what postcodes are in those output areas. And the thing we have here is the geoportalstatistics.gov.uk. And if you go to geoportalstatistics.gov.uk, you get to this page and you get the option to pull out postcode to output area and lower layer super output area lookup. Now, the problem is that is a really huge file. So when I downloaded it, if you've got an Access database or something else that you can look at it in, I would recommend it, because if you try and look at it in Excel, generally, it'll only give you the first million rows. As we know, Excel has a limited number of rows. But if you go into that, and I'm going to escape that again and go back to because I downloaded it already to save you all the trouble. It actually comes up with its filters already, and then you would want to go to your LSOA name. We might want to filter. We might want to go through LAD name. Let's just pick Chelmsford to make it all a bit smaller. Where are we, Chelmsford? There we go. So we're looking at something a bit smaller, and now I'm going to go to my Chelmsford and I'm going to pick here my LSOAs that have got it. If you had only OAs, you'd choose OAs. I'm just doing this to be quick. And now I'm going to pick my 16C, 16D and 16E, which I know happen to be the things. And ta-da! Now, if I go back to the beginning of my spreadsheet, here we have all of the postcodes in that district. And so we can then go to that postcode level data that's coming out of base. And I've downloaded that already. No, have I downloaded that already? Yes, I have. Here we go. So we can go to our postcode level data from base. I picked everything with CM3 because I knew that was the one. That was the one we wanted. But you can just, so basically you go in here and you pick out your postcodes and pull out the data for your postcodes from that base postcode level data. I think it comes out in two halves. So I think it's postcode levels. Let me just check. Yeah, A to L in one, and M to Z in the other. So go back to this. I'm just going to make that a big thing again. So you've gone to NSPD and you've got your postcodes. Don't try and open the postcode file along lots of other things. That's my extra big warning. If it's huge, it will make everything else in your computer crash. Once you've found your output areas, you can find them, find your postcodes, and then you go back to the base data and pull out your postcodes. So if you decide you want to compare them with population data, go back to NOMIS, and there's actually up-to-date small area, output area level population data available. So if you want to be looking at the latest population data of your area and you want to look at consumption per person rather than consumption per meter, which is probably a better comparator of whether or not the people in your area are doing well or badly in terms of their energy consumption. Because obviously, if you've got areas with lots of bigger houses that have lots of people living in them, your consumption per meter might look very high, but actually if that's servicing an awful lot more people, then it's it would be more reasonable to compare it to by population. And that's it. That's it. You need your population data. I think that's everything. Let me stop sharing, or I can start sharing. So go back to the beginning, and I can. There we are. Do that, and right. Any questions?
Yes, please.
Okay.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
Yeah, sure. Okay, so that's great. That's fantastic. Looking for an efficient method to correlate what you've just shown against carbon or the supplier carbon intensity from the grid, so that we can help local communities, help to identify in the local community where, let's say, the bad boys are, if I can put it like that. Any way to do that quickly in the way that you just described?
The only data that's currently available at small area level like that is that base data that comes from the business, energy and industrial strategy people. So that is, oh, where are we? We are here.
Yeah.
No, not that one. Not that one. Oh, there we are. Yes, that's the one. Subnational electricity consumption data. So that they publish, that's nationally available and easy to find. And what you have is here, they've got all the methodology and the guidance to all the things, and they've got reports, and then they've got the actual data, local authority data, LSOA, MSOA data, postcode level data, and that's all it is.
So no carbon, and of course it doesn't give you off-grid oil. So how do we get a site of postcodes consumed not using electricity or gas?
Danny, can I just interrupt and suggest, because I think a lot of people will have these sorts of questions,
okay,
and it might be a discussion for us to save till after the other two presentations too, because there might be more information come out in the other.
Of course, yeah, sorry.
Lovely, no, thanks.
Sure.
It's a valid, and yeah, it's a question lots of people I think want to figure out the answers to. I don't know if there are answers, and we will find out. So for now, I think we should move on and hear from Bill. Are you there, Bill? Oh, there you are.
Yes.
So can I hand over to you?
Certainly. Good morning, everyone. And just to, I'm not sure whether it's to apologise or applaud the fact that my PowerPoint presentation is very small and will occupy only a very small part of my discussion, and you're going to have to put up with my mugshot. The reasons for that, I hope, will become apparent as we go through. My task is to talk a little bit less about calculating data and a little bit more about what to do with it when you've got it. For those of you not familiar with WINAC, Winchester Action on Climate Change, is, I think, what these days is